Okay, welcome to the last part of the hybrid chain exploitation. So now we are going to combine the information we've gathered so far, and we're going to abuse this vulnerable template in order to escalate all privileges to our domain administrator and achieve domain domination. So as we saw before, we can abuse the fact that our compromised mail01 computer can self-enroll in this vulnerable template, and it's vulnerable because it has that enrollee supply subject, so we will be able to supply an alternative SPN and impersonate another user or computer. So we are going to need the NTLM hash of this compromised machine. As you remember, we already have root privileges to this mail server, which we know that it is domain joined, but now we need to find the hash of this machine because we are going to need it when we use CertPy. Now, when you find some Linux domain joined machines, you may want to give it the proper attention to enumerate it, because you might be able to gather lots of interesting information. For example, you might be able to gather Kerberos tickets, hashes, many interesting information. One of the key files that you want, file types that you want to focus on are key tabs, okay? Key tabs, in short, are files that contain pairs of Kerberos principals and encrypted keys. Okay, so what key tabs are for? Well, key tabs are files that can help us authenticate to various remote systems and services without needing to enter passwords. Okay, so they're commonly used in scripts. Okay, they're commonly used in Linux domain joined machines to perform various tasks that need Kerberos authentication. That's a nice article. You can find lots of other resources to see how you can list key tabs, how you can find key tabs, all right, and how they're used in Kerberos authentication and in Active Directory domains. Now, we want to search for key tab files here, and an interesting place to always search for key tabs is the etc directory. Okay, so if we go here and search for KRB5 files, for file searching with KRB5, we can see that we have the conf here. It's the default Kerberos configuration file, and we also have a key tab here. Okay, so we can read this key tab because we are root. Of course, as we saw here, okay, the keys are encrypted. Okay, so we can't actually find a hash in here and use it. But fortunately for us, there is a very nice tool which is called KeyTab Extract. Okay, it's a nice utility that will allow us to extract NTLM hash, the service principal, and other juicy information. So let's get that to our attack machine. Let's clone this repository to our attack machine. Let's go here and let's oh yeah, it's already running. Let's kill it and let's run the server again. Yeah, of course 80 port is reserved. Let's use 81 and let's wget. I'm sorry, I'm a bit tired today. I don't know what I'm doing. I spent lots of hours on the beach today, so you'll want to excuse me. Shit, I'm sorry. Okay. Let's launch our Python server again and let's get this right here. We're not able to get it. Why? Never mind. Okay. All right, nice. Let's go here and try to download it. Yeah, we're probably using the wrong IP address here. Yep, we were using the wrong IP address. So we have the krb5.ktab here, and let's run the ktab extract and see if we can get the NTLM hash here. And yes, we can. All right, so we have the service principal name, we have the realm, the domain name, and we have the NTLM hash. Now we can confirm that by testing this for the specific account and see if it's a valid hash. It is a valid hash. Of course, we can't use hashes or passwords of machine accounts to log in there, so you cannot use this pair of credentials or any other similar pair of credentials to PSExec or WinRM or RDP to that specific machine, but we can use it for our purposes with Certipy. Okay, so let's run Certipy again. Now we are going to use these nice options here again. I have several articles here that can show you how you can escalate your privileges from misconfigured certificate template to domain administrator, but we are going to use this. It has some nice commands here from outside of the machine or from inside of the machine. We're not inside a Windows machine, so we're going to use this. as you remember, previously we used the find command to enumerate for vulnerable certificate templates. And now let's see how we can abuse this vulnerable template. We are going to try and impersonate that Edward Miller user. So let's go and say Edward.Miller. Of course, we need to specify the domain, hybrid.vl. We need the certificate authority here, which is this, the hybrid-dc1-ca. We need the vulnerable certificate template, which is hybrid computers. We need the target IP, which is, the IP of the domain controller. And of course, we need the credentials of the mail server that we have compromised. Okay, so let's try to run certipy to see how we can define hashes here. Okay. Okay, don't see anything here, but okay, let's give it a try. Let's try it that way. And let's see if it works. Okay, we get an error here. Let's try that again. We get the same error. Let me check the commands here. Okay. Let's try to again, let's try with hash, although I don't see any options with hash. Okay. No, we had the correct hashes here. I wonder what's going on. Let's specify the domain as well. No. Okay, let's see what might be wrong here. Let's specify DC IP again. Okay, RPC access is denied. That's strange. Let me see if I have the correct hash here. I do have the correct hash here. Yeah. It's a typo. Once again, a typo betrays us. Okay, I think it should work now. Please work. It didn't work. Let's see what might be wrong. Let's try the DC01 here option. Okay, so here it has worked, but it says the public key does not meet the minimum size required. So we might want to specify the key size, and I think there's an option for that here. Let me check it. Yeah, key size, RSA key length. All right, let's try this. Certify is a bit it doesn't always work. Okay, so it has finally worked. So the key size was causing the problem, but I want to try with Edward.Miller, see if I can get a certificate and private key for Edward Miller as well, and I have gotten it. So we had a typo here, but we also needed to specify the key size. Now in the forum, in Discord, I have seen various people saying that they couldn't request a certificate for a user, okay, which kind of makes sense because we should be normally able to, you know, request certificates for a computer account, since this template revolves around computers. But I was able to request a certificate for Edward Miller, and you know, some people reported that the 40, 90, 60 size worked for them. I had to input 5,000. It's kind of a trial and error here. In any case, it has worked. Okay, the video might be a bit boring, but you really need to see what hardships you might go through. Tools might not work, etc., etc., etc. And let's use the Edward Miller right here. All right, let's see if we can get TJT. And yes, we have done it. Okay, so we have gotten the NTLM hash of Edward Miller, which we know that Edward, our friend Edward here, is a domain administrator. Okay, and let's check if we are right. Okay, so we are actually a domain administrator right now. Okay, we have fully compromised the domain. So what we have actually done here is we listed the vulnerable certificate templates. We were able to request a certificate for another user by providing a different UPN, because as you remember here, the vulnerable template has this enrollee supply subject. Okay, so we supplied the subject that we wanted, And then we used again Certipy to authenticate ourselves through this certificate and private key as Edward Miller, and request a ticket granting ticket for that user. Okay. Apart from that, when we got that ticket granting ticket, then we were able to extract the domain NTLM hash of that user. It's a similar tactic that you might have seen in shadow credentials. Okay, this time we had to do it strictly from a Linux environment. We didn't have any access to a Windows machine. Now, if you had not access directly to the domain controller, say that you wanted to, you had a foothold in the domain via pivot point, then you could try to run all those commands through proxy chains, or you could try to upload and build Certipy to the compromised mail server and run the attack from there. And we have seen here that we are a domain administrator. Let's try to evil WinRM in there. We can of course dump hashes, we can RDP to the domain controller. We actually control anything right now. And here you can find the root flag. It's in the administrator desktop. Now let's try to request to request a ticket granting ticket for the domain controller and extract its NT hash. Okay. There was a problem here. And what was that problem? Let's try to run this one more time. Okay, we get an error now. Although previously we were able to request a certificate for DC01. Okay, we have it now. Let's try to authenticate and request a ticket granting ticket with that certificate and private key. Let's see if it works. Okay. Let's try to specify the domain. Yeah, we need to say domain here. Let's see if it will work, just out of curiosity. Okay. Now probably we need to perhaps specify the fully qualified domain name somewhere here. Yeah, probably. Or let's try this. No, again, this attack fails. Okay, let me pause the video and try to see if I can find a workaround in this attack. Okay, sorry for the short break. Yes, we can see what the problem is here. We actually, all right, let's try to delete the dc01.cache and dc01.pfx. The problem here is that we didn't, when we initially ran the command, we didn't have the quotes around here. So this character would not be escaped. Okay, we need to put quotation marks around here, and as you can see now, once the command completes, the fully qualified domain name is correctly parsed now, because it's this one is produced, and previously we had this. So as you can see, we didn't have the correct file here. We didn't, the certificate was not correctly forged because we had not defined the UPN correctly. So let's delete this, and let's go and run the authentication command now. And surely enough, we are able to get the hash of the domain controller account machine. And let's now try this here, if it's valid, and sure as hell it will be. Okay, cool, so it has worked. So this is it. We have reached domain dominance. We have compromised pretty much everything here. If we had other domains or forests, we could try to further enumerate and escalate our privileges there as well. So this was definitely a great chain. Okay, actually it's one of the best Active Directory environments that I have played so far, because it combined a Linux domain join machine, Active Directory certificate services, which actually are very commonly found, and it's a very hot abuse to keep your eyes on. So it's definitely worth learning the tools and the techniques and the tactics and all those things. Sorry if this walkthrough was a bit long, and sorry for all the mistakes I made. I was a bit tired because I spent, I don't know, many hours on the beach today. It's summertime here in Greece. I hope you've learned something. I hope that in case you're stuck somewhere, you will find your way through with this video write-up. Thanks for watching, and I plan to do write-ups, video walkthroughs for all the changes that VanLab will create. It's a great platform, and you should really give it a try. You will love it. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you've learned something new, and see you in the next video walkthrough.